Bill Samuels.
Let me introduce him. He's my best friend.
Oh, well, hey.
Bill Samuels. There are a lot of people in office today. They owe it to Bill Samuels because he's one of the most generous, progressive businessmen, and he's the founder and the president of Effective New York. He is the guy right now that's spearheading the movement for a constitutional convention. There's a guy who signed off on it right over there, I think. And he's indefatigable, and he's really a great guy. Would you please welcome Bill Samuels, and then a statement from Nydia Velázquez.
Well, I love WBAI, but it's Randy who introduced me to Berth Hall and everyone else. Let me make an overview. If it weren't for the press, what would we do with Donald Trump in the White House? But the fact is, investigative reporting has almost disappeared. The press has diversified so that you have a lot of fake news. So let's come to New York. Whether you're for the People's Convention or against it, I respect you because that's not the issue. The issue is women, sexual orientation, disabled have no rights in our Constitution. We're going to get it passed either through the legislature by eliminating the IDC or through a People's Convention. I don't care how it gets done. We have a whole list of awful things that our Albany government hasn't done. Now, let's bring this down to WBAI. Cable costs money. You're going to buy a Wi-Fi. What radio station speaks the truth to minorities and poor who aren't paying $50 a month for cable? It's WBAI. It's an important progressive station that both people like myself and labor love. So it's such a pleasure, and we're going to solve this, and I'm just pleased, Berth Hall, that to work with you. Thank you.
All right, Bill.
So who's got the best hip-hop, youth-oriented show in the country? I think it's run by Rebel Diaz. All right. And who's got the best labor show? Ken Nash, Building Bridges.
With Mimi.
And Earth Mom with Indigenous people. And what can I say about Bob Lederer, one of the most important, along with Mark Canay, health-oriented shows, Bob Lederer in the house. So, you know who else is in the house? Now, you see, we didn't just pick anybody. Nah, we wanted the elected officials, but we wanted the principled, activist, elected officials. And what can I say? Nydia Velázquez is one of the most critical and important congresswomen. She is ours, and she's mine from Brooklyn, and supports Puerto Rican independence. Yay! So we now have
Daniel Smiley.
Daniel Wiley is coming up, and then, not the least of which, again from Brooklyn, we're going to hear from Jumaane Williams. But my brother, now why are you both?
All right, thank you. They call my father Smiley Wiley, but I'm Dan Wiley.
I know Dan Wiley.
Here,
I just was just joking.
Yeah, here on behalf of Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez. Thank you, Mimi. It's great to have you and all of you as constituents. We know the service that WBAI has provided to this New York community and beyond for so long. Yes. And we know that Pacifica and WBAI is a very important grassroots network that has served and provides a real public service. And we also know that Empire State Realty Trust is a multinational corporation with over $500 million in cash assets last year. So this is a statement from Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, who is now in Washington, D.C., fighting the good fight. And it seems like every other day we have something we got to contend with.
She's the best.
So Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, with the destruction of the Twin Towers, broadcasting stations in the New York City area had few options for transmitter space. I encourage the Empire State Realty Trust and Pacifica WBAI Radio. I encourage both parties to come together and engage in good faith negotiations. a collaborative and fair solution is possible only if both parties come together to the negotiating table, willing to hear one another's interests with an open mind. Resolving the current tensions between WBAI and Empire State Realty Trust remains possible, and I urge the parties to come together and negotiate in good faith.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wiley. Thank you, Mr. I'm smiling, Mr. Wiley. I'm smiling. It's Velasquez. Velasquez. All right. Presente. Velasquez right now. All right. Look, the last time I saw this gentleman, it was even hotter, and that was on the Pride Day, marching down Fifth Avenue. And he was there with so much energy and took one of these flyers. And, of course, he's always there, and he doesn't need an introduction. Jumaane Williams.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
I'm very grateful that Randy stopped me to tell me what was going on with WBI. I was very shocked. And to be honest, I thought he was exaggerating about what was happening because I couldn't believe an institution like WBI could go out. When we look back under the Orange Man's years, we're going to see a lot of bad things, and people are going to be very disappointed in this country. And I think everybody's going to be talking about what they did and didn't do, and probably lying about who they supported and didn't support. That's the type of time frame we're in. People are going to pretend that they weren't saying and doing the things that they were doing. But one of the things that we're going to look back, and not the least of which, is what happened with the press under this time. Anytime you have fascism, anytime you have dictatorial leadership, the press is always attacked. And we've seen the press attacked over and over and over again. But we have to have places where the public can not only feel comfortable going, but feel that they have a part and a stake in the news that is put out. And there is none other bigger in New York City than WBAI.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to do whatever we can to make sure that this station remains. I too want to join my voice to saying you have to come to the table. If you are a multi-million-dollar or more organization, you do not have the right to step on the necks of the little guy who was only trying to get public information out. And I have heard about too big to fail. WBAI is too public to fail. So I'm going to end on that note. Too public to fail. Too public to fail. Too public to fail. Too public to fail. Let's keep up the fight. Thank you, everybody.
So, you know what? I'm going to top you. You saw him marching at the Gay Pride Parade. I saw him marching for 9 days and nights with the people in the community when Kamani Gray was killed in Flatbush. That's who Jumaane Williams is, one of the great champions against police abuse of power. And I want to say, Mickey Melendez in the house, Consabor Latino. I don't know what you're doing on Sunday morning. Dalton Anderson, the greatest gospel show on the radio. Dalton. Too important to fail. And I want to just say something else, least we forget. You know what? Community groups, our brothers from the Black Panther Party, Shep in the house. Our sisters from the International Action Center in the house, Dolores. Come on, Basiram Chowie, the most important education show on the air. See, because we are the people. There's no separation. And we believe in activism and empowerment of who? We the
People.
And we've got members of the board, King Downing, Serene Roberts in the house, and Vajra Kilgour. So our next speaker is going to be, I know who it's going to be. It's going to be our sister Alma with one of our new programs, How to Make It in the City.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are we going to save WBAI? Yes. Are we going to keep community radio? Yes. Are we going to resist? Yes. Thank you so much. It is important to note that freedom of speech does not necessarily just mean that we're free to write about it. It must mean that we're free to promote it, we're free to speak it, and that we actually have the airways to do so. 95% of corporate media is the same stories every day, the same narrative every day. WBAI provides a critical voice. They tell us about our health. They tell us about our rights. They tell us about our community. They tell us about our culture. If we lose this, we have nothing. We have nothing. So therefore, we will not lose it. We will not allow people to step on us. We will not allow the corporate interests to destroy us. We will continue to resist. Thank you. How to make it in this